What's going on, people? It's your boy Babs, your host. Welcome to the BMTV show and podcast. Right, people, I'm going to get straight into it. No dilly-dallying. Right, let's go, guys. Look, as you may have known, as some of you may know or may not know, as you can see, like I said, Senegal have unfortunately been stripped of the AFCON title. Now, most of you may know, if you're a football fan, whether you are or not, because a final is a final at the end of the day. When it comes to football, when it comes to sports, when it's the finals, it is big. And Morocco versus Senegal in the final was big. And history's just been made, literally, because I believe this has never been heard of before. Well, in my opinion, I don't think I've ever heard of anyone being stripped of a final, a title in the World Cup or in the AFCON or in any big sports event in this manner anyway. Look, let's get straight into it, guys. I'm not going to be biased. I'm just going to tell you how it is. It's unfortunate and it is what it is. But look, let's look at it from both sides and let's be very open-minded about this because it's very unfortunate. And if I was, to be honest, if I was Senegal, would I appeal? Uh, would I fuss? Because to some may say, with or without the title, Senegal have won it. Some may say, no, they've not won it. I mean, from one perspective, Morocco might turn around and say, we deserve it, it's well deserved. And from Senegal's perspective, they might turn around and say, hell no. Now, however you may look at it, I believe that there is some wrongdoing to an extent, but we're gonna dive straight into it and get to it. Yeah, right. Let's have a look at this first segment.
I must just bring you some breaking news that's reaching us regarding remember the Africa Cup of Nations final, which was a full 58 days ago. It was absolutely chaotic at the end. Senegal won it. Papagay's extra time goal sealing a second AFCON title for Senegal. But there was chaotic scenes, you might recall, at the end of normal time when the Senegal players walked off the pitch and Brahim Diaz missed a penalty for Morocco in the 24th minute of injury time. Senegal won the Africa Cup of Nations. 58 days later, the news now is that that final result has been overturned in a major ruling. Senegal now declared to have forfeited the match, and Morocco have been declared winners of the Africa Cup of Nations with a 3-0.
I'd just like to add something to that. I mean, I find it kind of strange. I mean, when they say Senegal's forfeit, yeah, I mean, they did walk off the pitch, which was clear and evident at the time there and then. But I to be honest, guys, look, I have a hard time believing that that's the result. That's the end result to be able to strip them off the title so easily. I mean, let's call it as it is. Let's call a spade because yes, that did happen. We know it well. We know damn well it did actually take place. Now, why was it not implicated there and then? Why was there not a solution? Why was there not a discussion there and then by the referees or by those in charge before handing over the title? Because there was a whole riffraff, as we all remember. And when Gay scored his goal in the 94th minute, I believe, the game had carried on. The final whistle was blown, and the title was then handed over. So how do we then go from that to this?
Scoreline. The Confederation of African Football Appeal Board stripping Senegal of that title after they walked off the pitch for more than 10 minutes when that penalty was awarded to Morocco in the final was missed. Senegal won it 1-0, but the result is now overturned. This is an unprecedented ruling. Senegal no longer the 20 Nations champions. It is now Morocco.
Guys, the only question I have is, as if I was a Moroccan myself, look, I'm just playing devil's advocate here. If I was a Moroccan, is that a title deserved? Is that a win deserved? Is that how you want to win a title? By literally, by through an appeal? I mean, to be honest, as a football player myself and being a football fan myself, I don't think I'd take it, to be honest. I think I'd be happy just letting Senegal walk away with the win. However, I may take it if I was a Moroccan. Now, it's neither here nor there. Like I said, I'm not being biased about this. It's just my personal opinion. But I personally wouldn't fuss about it because even though there was a dispute, there was an issue on the pitch there and there, it wasn't resolved up until now. And it's unprecedented, the fact that, look, let's just keep it real. It's the fact that 56, 58 days, whatever, who cares, later, we then come back and this is the outcome. It's a bit unfortunate, but hey, look, it's actually unheard of.
One of the most extraordinary decisions in tournament history. 2 months after Senegal were crowned Africa Cup of Nations champions, that result has now been overturned, and Morocco instead are the winners. Senegal have been stripped of their title for walking off the pitch in protest at a late penalty that was given against them, and Morocco have now been given a 3-0 win, although Senegal say they will appeal. So expect this one to rumble on for a bit longer. Now, the Confederation of African Football claimed that Senegal infringed on Article 82 of the Africa Cup of Nations regulations, and as a result, Article 84 became applicable. Article 82 states, if for any reason whatsoever a team withdraws from the competition or does not report for a match or refuses to play or leaves the ground before the regular end of match without the authorization of the referee, it shall be considered the loser and shall be eliminated for good from the current competition. Well, Article 84 states that the team which contravenes the provisions of Article 82 will lose its match 3-0.
Look at this way. I feel as though Senegal shouldn't have even walked back on the pitch at this rate. They should have just carried on walking. I mean, once you march, you're marching, right? Just march off to the end. Because at this rate, it feels like, what was it all for? Because regardless of Article 1, 2, 3, or 32 or 82, to me, it's just, I mean, it's beyond belief the fact that you can actually go thus far and then totally be stripped of a title that you clearly had won, in my opinion. And regardless of what had gone on, regardless of the players walking off, like I said, if there wasn't a final decision made there and then, I don't see how this takes place. So
now, delighted to say we can welcome our first guest of the day, our journalist Mimi Fawaz, who joins us. You were at the Africa Cup of Nations final, so really appreciate your thoughts on this. Talk us through that chaotic end to the match and what it was like to be there as well.
Yeah, Peter, it was quite dramatic and chaotic scenes when I was at the stadium for the final in January. Look, Ismaila Sarr had scored a goal that was not ruled a goal by the referee in the match. And just a few minutes later, the referee awarded a penalty to Morocco. Now, that saw players protesting, the coach of Senegal then asking the players to come off the pitch and going into the locker room. At the same time as that was happening, journalists were arguing behind me. We saw riot police clashing with the Senegalese fans as well, close to the pitch. So it was absolute mayhem all around on the pitch. And then Sadio Mane got the players to come back onto the pitch. The game was restarted. That penalty that was awarded to Morocco was missed by Brahim Diaz, that Panenka that we all know about that was caught by Edouard Mendy. And then we saw an extra time, Senegal getting the winner, Pape Gueye. So that was exactly what happened, the events on the day of the final.
Yeah, I mean, it was mayhem. You've summed it up there brilliantly. I mean, Jamie, what do you think of it all?
Well, I'd like to know, how is Senegal taking it? And for me, look, just from a player's perspective, how are they? Have any of the players come out? Have we seen anything from the players yet in terms of they spoke up about it?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll say that they will go to the Court of Arbitration for Sport. That's the statement put out last night, which is
definitely not a way to look. I mean, look, in my opinion, the Senegalese population, regardless of, let alone the players themselves, but regardless of the players, I reckon the population at mass is furious. They must be fuming because, in all honesty, it's kind of ridiculous. I mean, any nation that would go for any nation involved in sports would be literally furious. That's literally that's not a question to be asked, to be honest. But look, I appreciate his concern. To be honest, I will personally say it's a decision that may be overruled because an appeal is in place. But regardless of that, it's also a ruling that I believe shouldn't have been made initially, unless it was already done, unless it had been done on the day.
We were expecting them to go all the way to the Court of Arbitration for Sport to appeal that decision. And we've also seen reaction from the Senegal players. They've not been happy at all, as you can imagine, with the result. With Ismaila Sarr, for example, of Crystal Palace here in the Premier League. putting emojis, holding the trophy. Some of the players like Moussa Niakate as well, saying, all of them saying, come get the medals, come get the trophy. So what's going to happen? What's going to happen to those medals? What's going to happen to the trophy? There was a huge trophy parade. So these are big questions that are being left unanswered at the moment. We can see over there.
It's a mess. It's a mess. But you can't get away from the fact that Senegal and the nation celebrated like this, right? You can change whatever you want in terms of a result, but the Senegalese have lived this moment. They will feel like they are the champions, and history might say otherwise, but they can't take that moment back. You might be able to change a result, but you can't take that moment back. Look at that.
This could have all been avoided, though. I mean, we've just read out the rules there. The rules are there, written down in black and white. Well, why has it taken so long, do we think, to just come to this decision? I mean, it's months have gone by.
I mean, it just goes back to what I just said. Literally, I mean, it's been so long for this ruling to have come out. I literally just said it. I mean, it's absurd to an extent, because if the decision had been made there and then, I mean, this wouldn't have been a topic of debate. But the fact of the matter is that it's taken so long, and the rules are the rules, right? I mean, it's in plain black and white. I mean, what does it take? And furthermore, what I'll add to it is the fact that once that celebratory event had happened, I mean, what does Morocco do now? Do they go ahead and celebrate? I mean, I'm just questioning it. Do they even? How can you even celebrate after that massive celebration? I mean, Senegal would always feel as though they are the champions, in my personal opinion. I feel as though any nation would, and this is not from a biased opinion. This is not from me believing that they deserve it. No, it's just me calling it what it is, and it's just me speaking on behalf of anyone that would have won the title, whether it be Morocco, Algeria, Nigeria, Ghana, any African nation. And that goes for any domain in sports anyway. Just across the board, it just feels as though anyone that's won the title then, I mean, in certain circumstances, like I said, if there was a decision, if a decision had been made there and then, it's a whole different topic. But the matter of the fact is, the ruling had taken way too long for one, and for two, the rules are the rules. So what game are we playing there?
Came last night. I was actually at the Champions League match, Chelsea v PSG at Stamford Bridge, when I saw the statement drop on my phone, and I had to read the statement twice to be sure that I actually read it correctly, because it's unprecedented. It's never before been seen at the Africa Cup of Nations. A ruling was made by CAF earlier in the year, a couple of weeks in January after the final, a fine of almost over £1 million for both sides of the teams, the coach of Senegal being banned for 5 matches, players as well being punished on the Moroccan side. But Moroccan FA were going to appeal at the CAF Appeals Board, and that's what they did following that decision from CAF earlier on in the year, where they awarded Senegal. They upheld that Senegal the champions, but Morocco FA went to the Appeals Board at CAF, and they've looked at it and they've decided to strip Senegal and just overturn the result. So we've not heard the end of this at all. As I said, I guess we could say it's to be continued, because we're going to have to wait to see what the Court of Arbitration for Sport is going to rule.
It's just, I mean, wherever you're watching this programme now at home, whether you follow England, Wales, Scotland, imagine you've won the Euros or you won a World Cup, and 2 months later you're told, actually, no. And imagine the celebrations and we'd see here at Trafalgar Square, and then 2 months later, it was just unbelievable. Jamie, as a player, the players have walked off. They didn't like the decision.
No.
They've had a goal disallowed, then they've had a penalty given, so they've walked off the pitch. As a professional footballer, what's your perspective on that decision to walk off the pitch?
I didn't agree with them walking off the pitch. I get that there was uproar, and it was 2 shocking decisions from the referee, but you can't walk.
Look, guys, I totally agree. Senegal shouldn't have walked off the pitch, but playing devil's advocate once again, they had their own reasons as to why they felt that they needed to. And if you saw how the game had been going, there were many situations, and there were 1 or 2 main reasons, but
off the pitch, you've got to stay professional, and I was disappointed in the way they acted, but obviously then they've come and managed to get them back, and they've played the game out and ended up winning. So if first of all, if I was playing for Morocco, I'd be absolutely fuming, because you're off for 10 minutes, over 10 minutes of a game. That changes the whole out. That changes everything. All right, they've got the penalty to win it, but they miss it. And then you've got to go to extra time. Everything changes. you know, because you're not flowing, the game's changed in terms of fitness levels, rest, where you've stopped. You've got to get yourself going again. And, you know, look, Morocco struggled and obviously Senegal won it. Senegal will see it as, you know, an amazing moment for them. They've celebrated as a player, they've celebrated the win. If I was in that dressing room, I've had the moment of winning, I've had the moment of lifting the trophy, I've had the moment of having the medal, I've had the moment of going back to Senegal and being a hero on an open top.
In all honesty, the flame's gone. I mean, I would want to know, what does Morocco do if they are handed the title? Which at this way, they have been handed the title. I mean, do they celebrate? I mean, that moment, that momentum is gone. You can't, I mean, they surely can't, well, they can, but will they parade is the question in hand. Will they feel victorious? Will they actually feel glorious? I actually have a couple Moroccan friends who I may even question and actually add to this.
Bus parade of lifting the trophy. I've had the moment of having the medal. I've had the moment of going back to Senegal and being a hero on an open-top bus parade. I have won the AFCON. Like that in your head, like you will feel like you've won it. They can take it away from them, right, and say, no, actually, we're going to give it to Morocco. But Morocco, the Moroccan players, they haven't felt that win. They haven't felt that moment, and that is what football is. That is what it's about. So, in my mind, Senegal, they will still feel like champions.
Mimi, across the world, right, the image of AFCON and the whole tournament, I mean, it's always a big talking point here in England, isn't it? Because it's right smack bang in the middle of the Premier League season and key players are suddenly gone. And then you see some of those refereeing decisions that didn't help, like Jamie said, a couple of decisions that leave you scratching your head, and then people are talking about the standard of the referees, and then all of a sudden you've got the top people in charge stripping Senegal of the title now that they've won and celebrate. 2 months later, we're giving it to Morocco. I mean, as a general sort of image of African football around the world now, it's in tatters, isn't it?
You know, it's quite sad to see how things have developed and some of the reactions, because for such a long time there's been a big debate about, you know, AFCON, African football should get.
Look, guys, there you have it. With all due respect to Morocco and their fans and Morocco as a nation, it kind of almost comes across as, you know, when I don't want to say the term, but we all know what the term is, sore loser. Do they get deemed as sore losers? Are they overstepping boundaries to kind of claim what's not theirs? Is it Senegal's win? What's your opinion? In all honesty, I'm neutral. I won't be biased about it, like I said. But what I will do is, as I said, I'll play devil's advocate, and I'm playing on both sides. I mean, Morocco could always turn and say, well, you know what? They never deserved it. You know what? We feel as though we deserve it. We feel as though we played, and Senegal's, you know, that's Senegal's issue, none of ours. But anyway, guys, look, there you have it. BMTV podcast show. I'm your host, Babs. I'm out.